can we dive into the concept of like loneliness and stuff? Because I feel like founders are typically viewed as super people, so they are
Mhm.
typically very smart, right? Like very driven, have a lot of grit, and of course they have it. But I mean, a lot of conversations that doesn't go on Zoom calls like this one doesn't really showcase the like emotional roller coaster, because you're basically doing something that maybe some people say it's 10% chance of succeeding, some say with the right team is 30% chance. So can you just give people an insight into how it is to found a company and try to scale it based on your experience? Because I guess but you also know a lot of founders, so I guess you have heard other stories as well. Because it's a pretty rough 5 years ahead if you decide to start a company.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can. There's the glass half full and the glass half empty point of view. I'll say, from my point of view, it's been the most exciting and kind of rewarding aspects of what I've done. I think I've learned more in the last few years than I've had at any point in my life. This is, how to deal with people, how to build a company, how to manage sales and marketing. And, you just are learning so much when you're talking about drinking from the fire hose. It really is it. But on the flip side of that, you are taking on a lot. When you have to deal with employees, I think it's different when you're managing a team and you're part of a bigger company, when they're really, this is your team. And the sacrifices you have to make, the weddings you don't get to go to, there's a lot of kind of personal sacrifice that comes in. And when things maybe aren't going as well as you hope, that at that point, um, you can put yourself in a tough spot. And you definitely hear that from, you hear that from a lot of founders. But I will say, even with all that, this has been the most rewarding and kind of aspect of anything I've done.
But that's so important, Tony, because if you're working super hard, if you, but
Mhm.
at the same time get results, it's like this amazing experience. But I think the problem comes if you're like working around the clock, and if you
Yeah.
hit so many obstacles and you don't see any way out of it. I mean, that's the part that are not discussed, because it's like having one rough night, it's okay, but to have the same rough night for 6 months and sacrificing everything, and maybe people around you expect you to be a success, that has to be a tough thing mentally.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big sports fan. I liken it, following the actual journeys of a lot of, athletes. It's very similar, right? Like you grind and you grind, and the chance of you succeeding if you want an Olympic gold medal, or an NBA championship, any of these kind of accomplishments that you're measured on and expected to achieve is, chance of it's pretty low. Only one team wins every year. And, just because of that percentage doesn't mean you don't go through the actual journey. Do you not grind every day with that in mind? So it's very similar, and that's where I think you can learn a lot of lessons and make the comparisons. I mean, maybe it's more extended, right? When it comes to startups, it can be 5 years, it can be 10 years, but it's that's, I guess, the viewpoint you got to have.